So, as you can see, I've shared this slide already. So this webinar will be about fundraising for your English channel Swim. And I will go over some sort of tips and tricks, as well as I will go through how to set up your JustGiving page if you've not already done so. So, firstly, I'm sure you already know this, but it never hurts to reiterate some of it. But you know that our SwimTayka's mission is drowning prevention, that it claims so many lives across the globe, and our effort is to provide swimming lessons to children in places with less resources. And so some of the places that we've supported before are here. We currently operate in Peru, Brazil, Indonesia, and our next year that we're starting one in Uganda. So this is some feedback that we've gotten from previous swimmers, as well as some questions that they have asked. So we'll go over what they've said before as encouragement. Just don't worry about where you are now. It's a marathon, not a sprint, which is very true. It's not a race, as some people come into this and they feel like it is a race and they're like, oh, but I can't swim well enough. That's not the case. You're all good on that. They've recommended to attend the training weekends, which are always very helpful. But I will say, if you're unable to attend during those days for whatever reason, that's okay. It's not gonna put you at some sort of huge disadvantage. They've said to be honest with yourself and your coaches so that in case anything does happen, everybody is aware of sort of what the situation is. That your team becomes your family. Some people have teams that are people they already know, which is great, and you will get even closer with them. But if all of your teammates are new to you, you will become very close during this process. And another one of their tips is to start fundraising early, which I highly recommend as well. These other questions that they've asked, I feel like have probably already been covered or will be covered in the future. We can come back to them later if you would like, but they're a little bit less relevant for our presentation today. Here's just some pictures of previous swims. You may have seen these before, you may have not, but sometimes it adds a bit of perspective to see the swimmers that have come before and their journeys and how they've enjoyed it. So for fundraising, this is just kind of reiterates what we do and why we do it, to prevent drowning and give the opportunity to learn swimming to people who may not otherwise have that chance. The fundraising that you will be doing for the English channel goes to pay for direct costs of the swim, such as the boat, but then the rest of it goes directly, it's funneled into our programs, it helps us support the ones we already have, and it goes towards helping us create more in other locations so that we can help even more people. So the fundraising requirements, I'm sure this is another thing that you've kind of been over before, but just to reiterate and make it extra clear, the minimum fundraising amount is $1,500, but we ask people to aim for $1,800 because even if you hit $1,500, if your page is set at $1,800, it can incentivize the people who are donating to you to still reach that higher goal, which means that is even more that gets to go towards our programs. We have a lot of people who go 2,000 or above, and that's always incredible to see. Last year we had, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but we definitely had a lot of people go over or hit 2,000. There's even a single person raised like over 4,000 just by themselves, which every time I look at that number, I'm like, wow, that can't be right, but it is. Not to put any pressure on any of you, but just that it is possible to reach higher amounts, and it's been done before. You can do it too if you put your mind to it. So the website to collect funds that we use is JustGiving. There are a lot of different platforms out there for fundraising. You may have heard of other ones, you may have used other ones before, but the reasons that we use JustGiving is because it's really well trusted within the charity and fundraising communities. The funds that are raised through it go directly towards the organization without fees. So, if you're raising £1,500, SwimTayka is getting £1,500. JustGiving lets you customize your page and make it really personalized to you. Alternatively, it also lets you use SwimTayka's pre-written content, or you can choose to pull from the pre-written content and add some of your own stuff, switch it up. Either way, it's totally up to you. JustGiving also links all of our fundraisers together through events. So you can go to the English Channel Swim 2025 page and see all of the swimmers' names will be listed. Not only is that a really great benefit for SwimTayka to track funds raised and where they're going, but it's also a really good way for you all to watch what's happening in your teams, watch what's happening in the group at large, and just kind of keep an assessment of any of it if you want to. And again, that it's well recognized and trustworthy. So this is some about 2023, because I have only just finished putting together all the reports and stuff from this year, so I didn't have time to put it on this. And 2023 and this year, 2024, we have had it's a lot less swimmers than your group will be, because we've really expanded, and you will be a much larger group, so your overall fundraising amount will be much larger regardless of how much you all raise individually, which is very exciting. I see here's people raising well over 2,000 as well. So here are some reasons that people have done so well with their fundraising, because it always sounds and feels really overwhelming, but when you really get down to it, it's not that challenging, and we do our best to make sure that it's even less challenging for all of you. So of course we have our SwimTayka team, which is here all during the week to answer any questions or give advice or help come up with content or event ideas, things like that you might need help with. And that's not just like general or obvious questions such as what's the fundraising target? Like if you want support with planning a whole fundraising event, let us know. Let me know specifically. That's what I'm here for. That's part of my job. So if you want that really nitty-gritty one-to-one advice, just ask. Also, our cause relates to people everywhere. There's so much water. Everybody at some point in their life is likely to have access to water. I mean, large enough that it can be risky. So everybody should have this kind of relatability to the cause that you are fundraising for. Additionally, swimming the English Channel is kind of a huge deal. And so everybody in your community, all your friends are going to be super impressed, maybe even a little jealous, but they're going to want to be a part of that. They will want to support you. They will want to be like, oh yeah, I helped fundraise for so and so when they were swimming the English Channel, because then they kind of get like secondary bragging rights to their friends, because swimming the English Channel is a really big deal. So here are some top tips, both from us at SwimTayka and also from previous swimmers. The main thing is tell your friends and family. That's likely where you'll be getting most of your support, and they want to know. Again, it's a really big thing, a really big challenge that you're taking on. They'll want to be in touch with you and to be able to support you and probably stay up to date on how your progress is going. They want to help. Also, you can tell your employers. We've had a lot of people who have had their companies or places of business donate part of their funds or all of their funds, often depending on how the business itself is run. But that's a really good way to get even half of your fundraising covered by your work. Use social media to announce your journey, to keep people up to date on that as well. If you aren't really sure what to post, images or caption wise, again, that's something that you can come to us as a team about, and we'll be there to offer any assistance on that. It is helpful if you customize your JustGiving page with your own story. Again, going back to the earlier slide, you can use the pre-written content, and that's fine, and people are successful with that. But it is a bit easier to have the funds come in, I think, if you are talking about yourself on your page. Because while it's good, to show what SwimTayka does, of course, but also the people who are donating through you care about you. So it's kind of the more that you put on there, the more interested they feel they can be, or the more engaged they feel they can be. And it does make quite a big difference. Also, personalize things to your different audiences. In our fundraising pack, we have some email templates. If you don't already have this, you will have it. It's also one of the things that you can order from our website. It has templates, email templates in the back of it that are personalized for family, friends, and colleagues. You can use those or not, but it's just a few suggestions to help you tailor your approach to different demographics. Also, plan ahead. Are there events coming up that you could use to fundraise, such as, I don't know, a community fair or something? Or are there things that you can plan around holidays when you know a lot of people will be in town? Things like that. So some examples of things that people have done in the past is sponsored walks or sponsored silence, garage sales, cake sales, donations. Asking for donations for your birthday or for Christmas or other holidays is always a really good idea as well. And you get that peak moment of Christmas coming up. Very easy to ask for donations instead of gifts there if you want. There's also the possibility that you could partner with a local pub, community hall, library for some sort of event night. I know my local community hub and library, they regularly have fundraising events for charities such as Macmillan or Air Ambulance, and people like to go to those. They have snacks, tombolas, maybe bingo, depending. So that's something that you could also utilize within your own community. There's also the option of the sponsored head shave, which is maybe one of the more drastic options, but always fun. I've had my head shaved and I really liked it, so, it can be a great choice. To encourage your fundraising efforts, we do have some incentives available that will come through when you reach certain targets. We want to support you, we want to reward you all during your journey. So some examples of things that we've had or still have is a free copy of our English channel book, which is written by Brian and covers lots of things that people have done and tips on how they've done it, kind of what to expect, etc. Discounts on merchandise, which you should have received or will receive again. Gala dinner tickets is another one. We have this year's gala coming up in November, which you're all invited to as well if you want. The tickets are usually £50. But then next year, if you've, hit the target, raised the amount, you will get a free ticket to it, which is great because it's a really good opportunity to celebrate what everybody's done, reunite with your team, meet other people who have worked with SwimTayka, such as you probably won't have much exposure with our volunteers, but our volunteers also go to the gala dinner, and it's a really good opportunity for our two main communities of volunteers and swimmers to meet each other and just have a really fun night. Also, sometimes we are able to offer discounted or free entry to other swim events throughout the UK. That's really variable on kind of what's happened and or what's happening and the organizations that are running those things. Recognition across the charity, such as notable mentions in our newsletter, our social media, things like that. You can receive a discount on volunteering with us abroad and discounts on future swims with us, such as if you want to swim the English Channel again, you can receive a discount. So before we do questions, actually, I will go through how to set up a fundraising page. Some people for next year have already done so, but I'll just go over it because it's really quick and easy. So this is the page as it is. This is where you can see people who have already signed up. We've got Erica right at the top immediately. Good job. And then this is sort of the summary of the event. And so how you set up your page is the big orange button that says Start Fundraising. Once you click that, it will automatically show that the target has been set to 1,800, but you can adjust it if you want. Say you want to set your target to 2,000, and then just click next. This is where you can personalize your page. This is how it comes already done for you. Like it'll have your name and then fundraiser, and then it'll have some of the same information from the main page. You also have this little AI thing to enhance your story that I've not tried, but that's something that you could do as well. Mess around with that. You can customize the URL to your page too. Like, there's no reason for all those numbers to be there. And then that also makes it easier for people to find your page if you're just telling them about it and not able to send a link, because then it would be justgiving.com/page/your name or whatever else you put there. So then you go to page cover. Again, this is the same one that is used on the overall SwimTayka event page. You can leave it there or you can upload one of your own. That's a really good opportunity as well to start or continue personalizing your page so that your community is able to relate to you on a bit more of an individual level. And then you click finalize. It gives you the little like confirmation thing. should launch your page. I'm not going to do it because I would have to then go back and delete it, and that creates more work for me. But for you, then it should be set, it should be ready to go. So after all of that, now are there any questions about fundraising? Vicky, yes. You are muted if you're trying. Yeah.
Yeah. The first page you came up where you click launch. How do you get to that one?
Right. So, do you mean this final bit or the original page?
No, the original page where you started creating it.
This one?
Hang on.
And then
where it says, and then you clicked on start fundraising. Yeah. How do we get to that one?
This one, I can send a link out to everybody as well. You should have it in emails already. You should have a fundraising email, and it would also, well, it should have been in the original contract that you signed.
I did, but when I clicked on the link, it said this link goes nowhere.
Oh, okay. Well, I will send it out again. I'll also put it in the chat here, just to make that easier for you or for anyone. And then I'll send it out again as well.
And when you've done it, how do you get the link that you can send to people to, so they can give?
Right. So once you've created your page and all of that, you can just, let me share my whole window to make this easier to see. Here, so once you do that, if you go up just to the address bar, I guess this is called, and then select all of it, you can copy it from there and then paste it wherever.
Okay, thanks very much.
Any other questions? Oh, I'm going to take that as a sign that my presentation was very cohesive and understandable. If you have any questions about things other than fundraising as well, you can ask those too. Phil, yeah?
Yeah, just a real quick. What happens if somebody's sick in the team, either before or whilst you're doing the swim? Do they just drop out and somebody covers that leg, or how does that work?
It can vary on a case-by-case basis. If they have to drop out before, you may be able to just continue with a team of 5. We've had lots of teams do that. And it doesn't make that big of a difference, but it's a choice that the rest of the team would need to make at that time. If somebody is sick during the swim, such as once you set off, you're on the boat, people have already taken some of their turns, depending on the severity of the sickness, you may need to turn around and go back to shore. That has happened a couple of times, but not that often. And the most common thing that happens is really, really severe seasickness. But there are methods to combat that, such as seasickness patches that people have used. And also, during some of the training days, you may get the opportunity to go on one of the boats with one of the captains, and they'll take you not all the way across, but they'll just take you a little bit. And so people have said that that's really, really helped them kind of acclimate to the atmosphere and help them prepare mentally and physically. So that is a really good option as well. Just keep an eye out on any training day emails that you might get for the option to sign up for the boat practice.
And can you have a reserve, somebody who can jump in? Is that allowed?
Not really, because it would need to be a person who's still pretty much gone through the entire process. So if you had like a 7th person on your team, they would have to do all the same things that you're doing, but then potentially not swim. It does sometimes, very rarely. Again, a lot of it's super situational. There may be a person who was in a team slotted to go before your team, but maybe they were sick when their team was supposed to go. So then if there's a spot in a future team, they could have the opportunity to step in there, if that makes sense. It's a little bit convoluted. Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Cheers. Oh, that's answered. Thanks.
Of course. Any other questions? If not, we will have finished perfectly on time, and we'll just be good to go. If you do have any other questions that you come up with, you have my email, you have the group chat, as well as both numbers for me and Brian. Feel free to reach out whichever way is most convenient to you. If it's a question that is applicable to everybody, I recommend you ask it in the group chat just so everybody else can also get the answer, because the odds are that they have had the same question as you. You're just the first person to ask it. But again, if you're not comfortable doing that or you don't want to, feel free to just reach out to me individually. Thank you for coming to this webinar then. I hope it was helpful. And, oh, Allison, yeah, before we go. You'll have to turn off. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Hi, everyone. I've used JustGiving before once, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I had to get somebody to set it up for me. I really wish there'd been a presentation like this that time round, because it's made it so much simpler, and you've made it look so easy.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. I also have a number of friends who've done the crossing, and who have reported back about seasickness and how people have been so violently seasick.
Yeah.
But they have just kept going. They've been sick on the boat, and they've been sick in the water, and just keep going, because you're doing it for a charity. You're trying to raise money. You just keep going. And on the day, apparently, it all falls into place. That's me finished. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, that is true. And you're also doing it for yourself as well. So that's another good reason to push through. But yeah, there are ways to try to prevent that. And, you know, depends on the person. It does happen, but you can definitely push through. It was great to have all of you here. I enjoyed seeing your faces or your letters. This will be uploaded to YouTube soon, and then a link will be sent out to everybody. So if you want to come back and review it as well, you are more than welcome to do so. In that case, thank you. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.